Trading at Schwab is now powered by Ameritrade, giving you even more specialized support than ever before. Like access to the trade desk, our team of passionate traders ready to tackle anything from the most complex trading questions to a simple strategy gut check. Need assistance? No problem. Get 24/7 professional answers and live help, and access support by phone, email, and in-platform chat. That's how Schwab is here for you, to help you trade brilliantly. Learn more at schwab.com/trading.
If you don't have a partner, don't worry about it. We'll pair you up. We just want to see you dance. All right? So let the game begin.
Calling out around the world. Are you ready for a brand new beat? Summer's here and the time is right.
I want you.
Okay, now if I hit this, will it let me do the intro? I'm going to just cover us up just in case it doesn't let me, and then I can just go into it. There we go. Yeah, it's not letting me. Fuck. Okay, let me try one more time. Really? I don't know why it does that. Okay. So I'm just going to hit record and then just start. I'll manually play the video.
Okay.
Let's see here. All right, here we go.
You have a first move up on stage. If you don't have a partner, don't worry about it. We'll pair you up. We just want to see you dance. All right? So let the game begin.
Calling out around the world. Are you ready for a brand new beat? Summer's here and the time is right.
You and I want you.
Okay, let's go.
All right, let's move along. Thank you.
In New York City, all we need is music, sweet music, lovely music everywhere. Everything's playing and records playing, dancing in the street.
I already have notes.
Oh my gosh.
Hello, everybody. I know you. If you're watching this on YouTube, first of all, if you're listening to this wherever you get your podcasts, we envy you because you just enjoyed like a fun little music break. But for those of us who just had to watch that, ay. What is the sign with the D on the top? It says D, and then the next line says ants.
It's DTV, Margot.
So that thing, it just scrambled my brain. I'm supposed to say hello, welcome. This is a podcast called Book versus Movie. And why are we doing a movie that's not based on a book? We're asking ourselves the same question today.
We should say we've done this with Ode to Billy Joe, Yellow Submarine,
Many
Jolene. There's been many times.
I forgot we did Yellow Submarine. So we say book versus movie. But the truth is we were talking about films that have been adapted from some kind of original source. And it can be a book. Most of the time it is. most of the time it is. And but it could be fiction, nonfiction. It can be a novella, a short story, but it could also be a magazine article, a poem, a song. We've done many songs to movies. This is just one of, Margot just rattled off a few of them. Yes, by the way, we're both named Margot. If you're new, we're both named Margot, and we're on opposite coasts of the United States. And it is the beginning of the year 2025, and we thought it would be fun.
We were girls that wanted to have fun, y'all. We
were
needed
girls who wanted to have some fun. We should have done, and we should have listened to Roger Ebert, who would have told us that Girls Just Want to Have Fun is not for girls who want to have fun. So yeah, this is a film. Again, we're going to talk about a song to movie this time. And we are constantly looking for new ideas. We have Black History Month coming up. We've got Pride Month coming up. We do musicals in March. We do mysteries in May. We do spooky movies in October. And the rest of the time, it's just a hodgepodge. Holiday movies, of course, we just finished, wrapped up at the end of the year. And we constantly need new ideas for film adaptations that we can talk about. Or if there's an old episode of ours you'd like us to recover, there are numerous places where you can meet other listeners of this podcast and interact with us on the internet. But there's a few places where we're a little more interactive.
As of right now, yes. So we have a basic Facebook page. Be sure to like it, Book vs. Movie Podcast, because the episodes are posted there, but we're much more interactive in our private Facebook group. And we really keep that Facebook group about books and movies and pop culture. It's a nice, safe space to hang out. That's how we're going to keep it. We've been there for 10 years. We're at Threads, Instagram, and Blue Sky at Book versus a Movie. In those places, you spell out Book versus a Movie. And then we have an old-timey email, bookversusmoviepodcast@gmail.com. So all those places, you can send us your suggestions. Also, if you would like some stickers, just send us your address, email us your address, and we will drop them in the mail for you. And you have some stickers coming out to you, Margot. It's just been so cold. I have not been able to leave my apartment building very much.
I don't blame you. It's been so dry and windy here. I also have not wanted to leave very much. We blessedly I was just saying before we got on the air, we've had a rainstorm here in San Diego, and I hope it's making its way up the coast to Los Angeles. Because as we speak right now, the fires are still there. We're still dealing with all of that. So let's, okay. So look, but before I get to that, let's say, let's say you're brand new. You're interested in songs to movies. You didn't know there were so many of them. You'd like to hear a few of our other episodes where we talk about songs to movies, or some of our other episodes that maybe you can't find on your normal podcasting streaming app. You can also support us on Patreon. There's a bunch of stuff there, and a lot of it is free.
Quite a bit of it there is free. Like we said, I just said before, we've been doing the show for 10 years. So we have everything. I think it's from 2022. And then previous to that, I'm putting up on our Patreon wall, Patreon. We also put all of the clips here we put on there. So you can sign up for free on Patreon. But those that do pay for Patreon, we have episodes coming up. The Butler, Passing, Sabrina, Hunt for the Wilder People. I really love that one. The Lost Daughter, Pinocchio, The Bad Seed. We have so many up there on our Patreon wall. So those of you that support us there, thank you so very much.
Those were all such good books that the ones that you just rattled off, like all of those, Passing, all of them. They were such good books. A great movie. A lot of them great movies. But oh yeah, those are really particularly good ones. Can't say the same for today's episode.
I heard from a friend of mine in high school. I don't know if she'll listen to this episode or not, but she said, "Oh my God, I love this movie. And I own it." And I'm like, wow, I love you. And I was in your wedding and I'm totally, we're friends, but whew, okay.
Yeah.
Look,
Bye bye the cow.
Exactly. Yeah. Look, I love some really cheesy stuff that's indefensible.
I do too.
I have to just say that ahead of time. So
I
if this is one of your favorites, absolutely enjoy it. Just,
yeah.
You might be teasing a little bit. That's all.
Earlier this year, or last year, I should say, at the end of last year, November. And is it still going on? Let me just double check. Hold on. Hold, please. Let's see if it's still going on. Yes. Oh, she's in the UK now. Cyndi Lauper, as we speak, is doing her farewell tour. And Todd and I got to go to the San Diego date here in late November, I think it was. Y'all, we have some people who listen to us in the UK, just go. Just go. Jaw-dropping. Gorgeous. Flawless. The spectacle. Just go. First of all, she does everything. She does everything. And she collaborates with different artists, different visual artists for the different numbers.
Trading at Schwab is now powered by Ameritrade, giving you even more specialized support than ever before. Like access to the trade desk, our team of passionate traders ready to tackle anything from the most complex trading questions to a simple strategy gut check. Need assistance? No problem. Get 24/7 professional answers and live help, and access support by phone, email, and in-platform chat. That's how Schwab is here for you, to help you trade brilliantly. Learn more at schwab.com/trading.
True Colors, I cried. Just before she even opened her mouth, just from the visuals.
Yeah, I remember that
I
video.
burst into tears. The last song is, of course, Girls Just Want to Have Fun. Just spoiler alert, if you go, that's, she's not going to open with that. It's amazing. I don't want to spoil it, but I'm going to spoil it. So as I say, she's collaborating with all these she's got costumes by Christian Siriano. Amazing. The last number is Girls Just Want to Have Fun. And she's collaborated and she's brought into the design of that performance, Yayoi Kusama. So it's all polka dots. It's spectacular. Go.
Yeah.
Just go. And if you're in the US and you miss it, I'm so sorry. It was so beautiful. It was so gorgeous. And oopsie, sorry, I hit my microphone. I was so excited. I just adore, in the 80s, little baby me in the 80s, listening to the music of the 80s, and I love the music of the 80s. I love the music in this film that we're going to talk about. It's not the top drawer stuff.
Mm-mm.
But I love all of it. I'm here for it. I'm here for Cutting Crew.
Mm-hmm.
I'm here for When in Rome. Absolutely. DeBarge. I'll take a DeBarge moment.
Love DeBarge.
But let me tell you, when Cyndi Lauper came along, I was like, somebody out there understands me. I was like, this totally gets me on every level. It was so important to me. I can't even tell you. And then these are the early days of music videos.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll talk about the Cyndi Lauper of it all. But the thing is, she didn't actually write this song.
No, Robert Hazard. So we'll be doing we'll be giving flowers to Robert Hazard and the Philadelphia music scene. It's a lot going on, y'all. We didn't expect to go this way, but there's a lot going on.
But we'll get into the Cyndi Lauper part of it. But the song, for all of that, it is and it continues to be for women of all ages and people who, don't square pegs, if you will. We'll get to that.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a song that was, it had a totally different meaning when it was written. So there you go. Let's talk about Robert Hazard.
So Robert Hazard is our author of the piece. He's a musician born Robert Ramato in 1948 in Philadelphia. I lived in Philly from 78 till 83. My dad moved a lot. So I lived just outside of Philadelphia and I've learned regionally around the country, there were music scenes that happened, and especially before MTV, where you wouldn't even know about bands like in other regions, but they could be huge where you were from.
That was a thing that happened.
Yeah.
Yeah. And also, oddly, in the same way, international artists would have regional success in the US. It was a strange time.
Yeah. Yeah. So Robert was, he had a band called the Robert Hazard and the Heroes. He was performing in Philly, and this is like new wave time. So this is like beyond like classic rock or arena rock. So he had synthesizers and all kinds of stuff. And there were two stations called WMMR and WYSP were the rock stations that I listened to. Little baby Margot used to listen to, and they would play his music. And he had an EP that did really, really, and I thought he was famous. So when we moved to New Jersey and people would talk about this song, and I said, oh, Robert Hazard wrote the song, and people look at me like, who the hell is Robert Hazard? I'm like, oh. And also in the Cyndi Lauper album, there are a couple of people who were with the Hooters, which was another huge band from the Philly area. They were more famous. They became more famous than Robert Hazard, but they were part of Cyndi Lauper's band before they formed a band together. So there's a lot of music scenes.
Not Hootie.
Not Hootie and the Blowfish.
And the Blowfish.
This is the Hooters.
The
And
Hooters.
not the Hooters. The Hooters, not the restaurant chain where the girls in the light tank tops and chicken wings. This is a whole other thing, the Hooters. That was a band. It was an instrument that they used to play in their songs. And I loved the Hooters, by the way.
I did too.
They were great.
I wish the restaurant was run by the Hooters.
With those instruments.
With those little...
That would have been amazing.
You don't see those anymore.
No. So he had, so we'll play a couple of things, but we'll play the original version of this song is from 1979. And I try to keep things under a minute so that we don't get flagged by, we'll see what happens. So that's 1979, and it's the you're on mute. It's the germ of the idea that it's there, and it's
it's really good.
It is good.
I mean, that's really super good.
It kind of
got
reminds
an
me.
edge to it.
It reminds me of Valley Girl. When they go to the bar and that.
Yeah,
We covered Valley Girl, by the way. We also talked about Valley
did.
Girl. We did. So it kind of reminds me of that. So that's the song he wrote in 1979. And then he had a video, and it was on MTV, and it kind of was like a minor hit. And I guess that's the next one. That's Escalator of Life. So that's like, for me.
Those of you who were around then, you might remember. This one might.
And I love this
ring a
video
bell
because
for
it's
you.
very 1983. I love it.
Come on, eyeliner pencil.
Men in lipstick and eyeliner pencil.
Made of
Of life.
Love it.
It was an EP and then it became an LP. He was in Rolling Stone. I mean, it was one of those things like they thought he was going to be. I mean, he's mostly known for girls who want to and it's just want to have fun. It's not want to have, it's want
Right.
to have fun. But he's the author of the piece. He's the musician. He unfortunately he passed away in 2008 at 59 from cancer. But hopefully his family still makes money from this song because this song still plays in commercials and films, and it's a vibe. This song
Yes.
is a whole thing, and it's a man that wrote this, a gentleman, but it's women that we've claimed it. I mean, the song is about girls and girls want to have, and I have to say, because you and I were there, Cyndi Lauper. The first time I saw Cyndi Lauper and this video, it blew my mind.
Same.
The artistry of what she's doing, like her whole package, that it was bizarre hair and clothes, and it was all women in the videos. And then she had some wrestlers because of Lou Albano, that connection. His brother Carl was my driver's ed instructor, by the way. So I'm not
Love
kidding.
it.
Ridgewood High School. So yeah, I have a lot going on here, but Cyndi, I mean, and to go back to this album, which is called She's So Unusual, which was a game changer. It was this album I listened to for years.
Oh, same.
Yeah.
Now she had been in a band she's 30 when She's So Unusual comes out, which is unusual for MTV. These were very, very young artists that they were playing a lot of the time. And she'd been in a band called Blue Angel. And by the way, if you go to the concert, she is going to sing. What's that song? It's a Gene Pitney song. Oh, I'm Going to Be Strong. Okay. Do yourself a favor. Just pause this. Go to YouTube. Look up Cyndi Lauper, Blue Angel. I'm going to be strong. She will blow the roof off of your home. It's so good. So she was known to just be this incredible vocalist, and she has always had a reputation of being a real, very, very professional singer. Always is taking music lessons, always is, takes a long time warming up and is very particular about the sound, the settings on everything. And people think because of the way she looks that she's like, oh, anything goes, but no.
No, it was all thought out.
Yes, it was very, very deliberate. And this album has hit after hit after hit. And they're all good. There's a Prince song on there.
When You Were Mine.
When You Were Mine.
Time After Time, that song still makes me cry. I'm thinking about it now and it's making me cry.
I know.
She has a several octave range. She was the real deal. Should we play her?
Yeah, let's play her version. So we heard Robert Hazard's version. And of course, this is the version you all know. But if you haven't seen the video for a little while, and by the way, this is Cyndi Lauper's real mom in the video playing her mom.
Yes, that's right.
Okay, let's just watch it.
In the morning, like my mother says, when you gonna live your life right? Oh, mama, dear, we're not the fortunate ones, and girls, they wanna have fun. Oh, girls just wanna have fun.
We can only play a certain amount because of
Yeah, we're not even sure like how this is
I
going to pan out once we upload it. We might get dinged all over the place. But again, do yourself a favor, go watch this video again. First of all, you will see choreography that is so much better, so much miles ahead of anything you're going to see in the film we're about to discuss.
Indeed. I love they always have the ballerinas in these audition scenes in these movies.
But
like they have
okay.
dancing that nobody's going to
That's
do.
good.
But
That's good for them. Somebody has to play those ballerinas. I mean, it's hard to tell people what it was like for us when this song came
To
out.
be young
It was
girls.
it
And
was such a big deal.
I wanted to live in New York. I wanted to live that
Oh,
life that she
same.
had. I was like, I want to dress
Absolutely.
like that. I want to have
I'm
just
doing
my
that.
girlfriends. We're going to hang out. We're going to have fun. We're not going to let anybody tell us what to do. We'll find our joy wherever we go. And that's
Yep.
that's the way I
Did that.
took it.
And we did it.
And we did
Yeah.
it. And there was
Yep.
also, we didn't mention, is that there was kind of a thing with music critics at the time of Madonna versus Cyndi Lauper. As if, because
They're
God
very
forbid,
different.
there's two women that are great and
This
successful.
This is the thing about, yes, if you're a woman, if you're a person of color,
A gay
this is
person.
something we're talking, a gay person, yeah, that if you're successful, we only get to have one.
Mm-hmm.
Never mind that they're completely different kinds of artists. I mean, talk about dancing
Well, yeah,
with
exactly.
Madonna. Oh my goodness. Again, we hadn't seen
And the
anything like that.
artistry, by the way, because she
Yeah,
was a whole
but
package.
different kinds of, they're both artists, but they're completely different. And men are allowed to be different from each other.
Right.
Mick Jagger is allowed to be different from Bob Dylan, is allowed to be different from Michael Jackson,
Mhm.
but we can't have more than one. First of all, they both have to be white, and we only have the one spot for women. So, I mean, it's so ridiculous.
Yeah.
But we were very lucky. We got both of them at the same time.
Mhm.
And then Janet showed up, and I mean, it was a whole thing. Yeah, it was such a moment. Such a moment. And, she's an artist. She's interpreting this song. She's so good at, again, if you go back and you watch that Blue Angel, that's not her song. That's an old Gene Pitney song that she's interpreting. And, you think it's hers because you hear her sing it. You think, who else could possibly sing it better than that? But she's really, really good at interpreting other people's work. And she's also a very good songwriter in her own right.
Did we talk about Kinky Boots, by the way, for musicals in
believe
March?
we did.
We did. She wrote the music
Yeah.
for that, which is, and it's a fantastic musical. Like,
super good.
she's very, very talented. I mean, we were so lucky to have her. We were so lucky to have this. It meant so much to girls. So much. She was unapologetically a girl. She was unapologetically female and a little weird and a little eccentric and also super talented and didn't apologize for any of it. She brought wrestlers into her videos, which was not a thing at the time.
It was not.
Not.
People thought she was so out there for doing that, and now it just seems so like fun
Quaint.
and like kitschy almost.
Yes.
Yeah, it was really a very, very special thing. So of course, corporate America has to capitalize on it.
And there were a lot of
'Cause
80s
we can't
teen
have
movies.
nice things.
No, we can't. And 85, I mean, this is just when John Hughes's movies are coming out. But before then, there was
Yes.
Porky's. There were all these getting laid kind of movies. They were all about
Oh, there's so many.
boys going after girls and getting what they want. And so somebody said, well, there's this song called Girls Just Want to Have Fun, and everybody likes Cyndi Lauper. Why don't we just flip it on its ear and have a female-centered movie with this song as like the totemistic, like the totem pole, and then everything else around it? Which I remember going to the movie theater, and I don't know, maybe it was Ghostbusters or something. I don't remember. But seeing the trailer for this movie, like the previews, and a friend turning to me goes, oh my God, there's a movie for us. I remember this very clearly. And I was like,
yeah.
oh, okay. Like they have those teen movies, but now there's one just for girls. It's not like
Which they
risky
none
business.
of them were.
Right. They were all risky business. Like they could be complex in their storyline, right? Not this movie. This is it's doing a thing where it's about young girls that are, all they want to do is dance, Margot. They're not trying to smoke or drink or do anything awful.
Love to dance.
They just love to dance. And
Or
yes,
ants.
dance. So yes, this song is so popular, and Cyndi Lauper did not want to be a part of this. And Roger Ebert will play Roger Ebert later, but he's like, why isn't Cyndi Lauper on the poster? Cyndi didn't write that song. Robert Hazard did. And probably by 85, Robert Hazard's like, you know what? Bring the Brinks truck. Fine.
Seriously.
And I don't blame
Yeah.
him, by the way. He is blameless in all
Nor
this.
do I.
Yeah.
Nobody's blaming the artists here.
No. None of the artists here have done anything wrong. But they created this whole thing. And so we have Sarah Jessica Parker. So we were just talking about square pegs.
Okay, so let's talk about let's before we play the trailer, because I think we need to talk about it before we play the trailer. So we know what we're looking at here.
There's a lot.
There's a lot. So the movie comes out in 1985, which means it was probably produced in 1984.
Mm-hmm.
And we have a lot of young actors, many gymnasts and dancers, and a couple of ballet dancers. But let's talk about our cast. We have our two main characters are played by little baby Sarah Jessica Parker, fresh off of Square Pegs,
Mm-hmm.
where she played a nerdy kind of a character who is a square peg, doesn't quite fit in. And so this is a little bit of a transition. She's also a Broadway baby. Tomorrow she's Annie.
Was in
She's Annie.
Yeah.
Yeah. She's one of the Annies. And then we also have little baby Helen Hunt, who at this point, most of us knew from the after school special where she takes angel dust and jumps out of the window.
There's the angel dust one, which is fantastic. And you can find that all over, TikTok and whatever. You can find it. It's fantastic. I didn't get that. But she also was in one I loved. It was like the quarterback is the homecoming princess or something like that.
Yes.
I loved that one. She's so talented. I mean, she's just, good God.
These kids are good at. I mean, I'm not
Shannon
faulting
Doherty?
the children. We have little teeny eatsy baby Shannon Doherty as the baby sister. R.I.P. Maggie Moline. All these kids are doing a good job.
Lee
I don't think
Montgomery.
any of these
He's the hunky. He was in Ben, which is the movie about the rat. The kid, the rat. And that's Michael Jackson did the song.
I'm really not going to sing that. Yes, Lee Montgomery, who was in Ben. We have what's the chick that plays Natalie Sands is played by Holly Gagnier.
Mm-hmm.
We have it says Cyndi Lauper has a cameo in it.
I know it's uncredited. And Gina Gershon is one of the dancers.
Gina Gershon is in this. She's one of the dancers. One of the dancers is Robin Anton, who goes on to found the Pussycat Dolls.
Yes, that's right.
Remember her brother had that reality show on Bravo?
The one he was crying all the time. He was the
He was crying
hairdresser.
all the time and doing people's hair. We found Robert Downey Jr. has no lines, but we'll talk about that in a minute when we get to that scene. And then we also have little baby Jonathan Silverman.
Oh, right. I forgot about him.
Jonathan Silverman, who a lot of people know from Weekend at Bernie's, but he was also in Brighton Beach Memoir.
He's excellent in that.
He's just starting his career here. His very first, I had to look up, like, when is his first screen appearance? It is like in 1984, and it's on the show ER, not the one that we're thinking of, but the one with Elliot Gould that was a comedy. Remember that?
Mm-hmm.
And he was also on Give Me a Break, I Sure Deserve It.
He was married. Like, weren't they like 18 and married? Like in that show, and they lived in the house. Like, okay. The 80s were wild, y'all. They were.
It was a weird
free
time.
range.
Like, we were told as young women that we could do anything, but also get married right away.
Yes. And you have to be a mother right away. Like
right away, immediately, while you're doing everything. So yeah, it's a good cast. I'm not faulting the cast. So let's play. So with all of that in mind, like, these are all like very talented young people.
Mm-hmm.
Some of them, it's their first thing ever. Some of them, it's their first like big theater motion picture ever. They've done a little TV, like Jonathan Silverman. So let's take a look at this trailer.
The girls of Holy Grace have a reputation to uphold.
Day-o. Say day, you say day, you say day, you say day. I'm not gonna let you miss anything.
deal?
We made a deal when I was 7 and a half. Nightlife was the Muppet Show. Sorry.
I can do any step you can do.
Hate him.
He's a guy and he's alive. What's there to hate?
He's just, you know? I mean,
Is he gonna call you tomorrow?
I think so.
You are grounded.
We're in this thing together, huh?
You sure are.
The moves, the music, the movies.
Let's do it.
Girls just want to have fun.
It was for us.
It looks promising.
Yes.
Spoiler alert, it does not deliver. What is I don't We'll start with the plot, such as it is. What's her name? Janie?
Janie.
Janie, played by Sarah Jessica Parker. Janie is a new girl in town. Her father has just retired from the military, and they've moved to Chicago for some reason. Why are we in Chicago? I don't know. John Hughes, maybe? Who knows?
Who knows?
But we've
Unclear.
established, here's the Sears Tower, so Chicago. But that's literally like we get one shot of the Sears Tower, and then there's like a little bit later on, there's like another little shot of Chicago. And the rest of the time, it is clearly, transparently Los Angeles. Anyway, they've moved to Los Angeles, Chicago, and they've enrolled Janie in a parochial school, like a parochial high school, much like the one I went to. And there she meets Lynn, played by Helen Hunt. And Lynn is a little bit of a rebel, but in a very fun way. She's not smoking or drinking or doing anything really bad. She just likes to, if you went to Catholic school like I did, you knew those girls who would like alter their uniform when school was not in session. And we had all these ways that we'd roll up this,
You roll
and
it
pull
up.
down that.
I live around the corner from a Catholic school.
Oh yeah,
and you see it. They're kind of rolling it, you know. But also because some of these, the girls in my, they would be taking the subway. So there's different levels of dressing up and dressing down because the perverts. So you have to always kind of keep that in mind.
So there's that. Yeah.
There is that.
So there they are. And this is actually how I met my best friend. She was the new girl in our Catholic school, and the nun, actually she was a former nun, but the nun asked her to share a little bit about herself, and I was like, oh, she sounds cool.
Where was she from?
Jamie,
do you remember?
She had just, of course I remember. We're still friends. She probably is going to listen to this.
Oh.
She had just moved to San Diego from Vermont.
Oh, that's a difference.
Yeah. And so I was intrigued. And Janie in the movie, as she's sharing a little bit about herself, she says that she loves to dance, that she loves dance TV, which I guess is our stand-in for MTV. And she and Lynn are sitting next to each other on the bus. And Lynn is intrigued, like I was. And they're riding together on the bus, the school bus home, and they hit some traffic. And Janie's a little bit worried. And Lynn is on her way to babysit. And Lynn says, don't worry, come with me to my babysitting gig and you can watch DTV. We'll watch it together. It'll be fun. So they go and they're watching it, and they announce that there's going to be a contest for the next dancing couple that's going to be featured on DTV. DTV, by the way, it's like, if you've never seen this film, we talked recently about Solid Gold and the Solid Gold dancers. So if you're our age and you're familiar with the Solid Gold format, so just imagine that, but in the dark, because for some reason this show is totally filmed in the dark. They've got like one follow spot. How these dancers, for all of their gymnastics and leaping, are not breaking bones right, left, and center. I do not know.
That's a good point. They do that because it usually looks like crap if it's under bright lights. So they make
otherwise
things
we'd have
darker.
to see the set.
Yes, and that's like a lot of TV movies from the 70s and 80s. You're like, why is this so dark? It's because they were filming 20 movies in there and they had to repurpose.
But Janie and Lynn, they live for this stuff. They love it because it's dancing. But is it though?
Well, they had those shows. We've talked about this before. I think it was when it was Hairspray. When we also covered Hairspray.
Yes.
When there were regional like the regional bands, there's regional shows.
Yeah.
Like Kelly Ripa was in one that was, she's
For
from
Dance
Philly.
Party USA. Yes.
Right. And that
Absolutely,
started
I
in
remember
Philly.
Dance Party
American
USA.
Bandstand started in Philly.
Mhm.
There's what am I thinking of? The not Solid Gold. What's the black show I'm thinking of?
Soul Train.
Soul Train.
Oh,
And
I
the Soul
love
Train dancers. Oh.
So let's get into that for a second. Just a little
Can't wait, this is.
sidebar. When they announced the dance competition on DTV, I'm thinking, and like, we're gonna get the next couple. Like, if you again do yourself a favor, there's the Easter eggs here. Do yourself a favor. What they have these wonderful interviews with former Soul Train dancers. They were not paid.
No.
Not really. They were worked a lot.
Where is this from, Margot?
Oh.
Was this from a documentary or where did you hear the?
Just all over YouTube. You can
Oh,
find
okay.
them. There's all interviews with the former and the Solid Gold dancers too. But you can find the Soul Train, all your favorite Soul Train dancers. Like, you could probably find an interview with them, and they're talking about, like, it's really fun. They all say that it was a wonderful, wonderful, super fun time, but they did not. It was not.
They
a big
were not
paycheck
paid.
for the amount of work that they were doing and the amount of money that they were generating.
Mm-hmm.
So, so they're so excited because they're gonna have a chance to be on DTV. And Lynn is kind of Janie's cheerleader. I wouldn't say she's encouraging her to do anything really bad.
No.
She's encouraging her, like, yeah, you should do this. You say you love dancing. I'm sure you could dance as well as any of these people. And I agree.
I was a kid. My dad worked for IBM, so we moved every few years. So I have a lot of kinship with army brats, like people that parents were in the military and they had to move every 2 or 3 years. Yep, that was me. I was the one that had to give the speech and talk about myself when I was 13 and like completely shy and broken. But she's in a military family, and I think the dad's retiring to this town.
Yes.
And
yes.
why did they just live in San Diego? Why didn't they just?
Right. There's a lot of places that would have made more sense anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So they go to the first audition, the cattle call, and there's everybody. All these people are there, and some of them, and actually, that's the best dancing in the whole picture. Is that cattle call scene? Those dancers are actually like the really good dancers. I don't know where they came from, where they found them. In Los Angeles, I think it's probably not that hard.
Yeah.
And Lynn they're just pairing people off and sending them out there. So Lynn gets paired with this guy. It doesn't go well. Janie gets paired with Lee Montgomery, and it's magical. And
he's adorable, by the way. That would have been
he's very cute.
He's very cute. 15, 16, I would have been like, yup, that's my crush.
But there's
on a motorcycle, by the way.
Oh yeah, he's got a motorcycle. How old are these people supposed to be?
18? I think they're seniors.
I feel like, okay. But I feel like if they were 18, they should have been like saying over and over again that but maybe not. People didn't in those days. No. Movies didn't. So there's also this wealthy, spoiled girl named, I keep forgetting her name.
Natalie
Sands. Natalie. And Natalie is determined to be the one who wins this contest. And she also kind of flops at the audition, but she makes it through.
She's a rich girl.
Yeah. So some of the people get picked for like get a callback, and they're going to do they're going to do the finalists live on television, and then they'll decide so now the couples who are going to rehearse, Janie and Jeff, is that his name?
Mm-hmm.
Jeff, they decide. So, but she's going behind her parents' back to do this. So she has to sneak out. There's a lot of many, many scenes of her sneaking out of the house and all the various ways that she's doing that to go and rehearse. And her dad's like strict about it, but I mean, not unreasonably. She just met this guy. He has a motorcycle. I would also be setting up alarms, if my daughter was insisting on sneaking out of the house. And also, he's right about her being on television. He's right 100% of the time. So anyway, they practice. Natalie also sort of has a crush on Jeff, and so she sabotages them by revealing that to Janie's parents that Janie has been sneaking out.
Right.
And she gets in trouble, and she gets grounded, and she also vows revenge. And Lynn, so Janie has Lynn, who's her kind of her the Ethel to her Lucy.
Mhm.
And Jeff has, I forget what the name is of Jonathan Silverman's character.
Drew.
Drew. So
Borman.
Drew has been invited to Natalie's debutante coming out party, which is a ritual I'm very unfamiliar with. I don't quite exactly understand how it works.
It's rich people congratulating each other.
It's rich people at a country club.
Yeah.
And so they get a hold of the invitation and they make copies and they pass it out to all the unsavory characters they can find on Hollywood Boulevard. I mean, Chicago. And
was it Michigan Avenue? What's the big street in Chicago? Right?
So Hollywood Boulevard.
Yeah.
Punks and I'm in quotey fingers, punks and these bodybuilding chicks and just all these
randos
people that they can find and they pass out the invites. So now we're at the big party and Drew and Jeff are there and Natalie is making her grand entrance with her father. And then what? Do we have a scene of
yes,
this, right?
Yes, we do.
Let's play it.
You have a mystery, don't you?
I love it.
Thank you.
Who was that creep? What the hell's going on?
You bring the jack, I'll bring the coke. We're gonna rock until this place goes up in smoke.
Sorry, you bring the jack, I'll bring the coke.
The lyrics. Let's have a moment of silence for the lyrics.
This would have been, if they had actually used, I would say they're all real songs, but like hit songs, it probably would have elevated a little bit more.
The music, okay.
Not to hurt anyone's feelings, but it's not
the A-level music. By the way, if you're looking for Robert Downey Jr. in this film, this is the scene that he is in. And I'll tell you where to find him because it's not easy. He has no lines. That's what he said. There's a scene where one of the punks, he does the whole like the magic trick of pulling the tablecloth out from underneath all the stuff and he does it successfully. He pulls out the tablecloth and you're like, for a second, you're like, whoa, we did it. And then the whole table gets upended because underneath is Robert Downey Jr.
Whee!
And then we cut away.
Yes.
He says nothing and we cut away. So now it's war. And Natalie is going to do everything she can to win this contest and defeat Janie, which is okay. So she's going to do anything that it takes, and she bullies her father into threatening Jeff, Janie's dance partner, threatening Jeff that he has to leave the contest, otherwise her father is going to fire his father, who works at a factory that he owns.
And who's a widower? He's a widower?
Jeff's father, I believe, is a widower.
Yes. So, yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
So it's
Natalie's
extra cruel.
father, I'm not sure. I think she must be the child of his like seventh wife.
She's a definite type in the 80s movies, the bratty rich girl that doesn't appreciate our leads.
Yeah. Yep. So Janie and Jeff have a little bit of a tiff about it. And Jeff goes to his dad and tells him that he's pulling out of the contest. And the dad says, why? And Jeff tells him why. And to his credit, like this, actually like the scene in the film. I think it's good. The dad's like, no, we're not going to kowtow to bullies. Like, which Good for him.
Good for
it's
him,
a factory
yes.
job. You can get you another. I'm sure you can get another factory job. It's still the 80s.
Yes.
So sad. It's terrible.
They still had
Yeah, that
unions.
job is not a long-term. Let's learn some new skills. And yeah, so maybe he has dreams
Yes.
he wants to pursue. So Jeff decides, like, okay, yeah, Dad says it's okay. He tells Janie, but Janie is still sneaking behind her parents' back. So she sneaks off to the final dance finals for DTV, which are going to be on live television. And so they're dancing, and there's also, this is where we have the ballerinas again. We've picked ballerinas for the finalists. I guess they really wanted those ballerinas.
Why did they have like tap dancing and
oh my gosh, you guys,
hayseed,
okay,
right?
Look, the
country
just
dancing, line
for-
dancing.
for a film that the entire plot revolves around dancing. Margot and I were just saying before we got on the air, we spent the better part of this morning trying to find out who the choreographer for this film is. This is the main move, and I'm sorry for those of you who are just doing the audio. Imagine, like, if I'm in a supermarket and I'm trying to reach the expensive jam that's on the top shelf.
She's bopping her hands
I'm Sarah
up,
Jessica
reaching.
Parker.
Also,
She
the
does
popping
that
in
move
place.
over and over again. Yeah.
The hopping in place. That was a huge one.
It's very Crystal Light National Aerobics Championship hosted by Ellen thing. It's very that.
Oh, God. We are the champions. The champions.
The champions.
It's so silly.
So I'm
Square
watching it, and
dancing. Why
that's
do we
why
have square dancing?
I'm watching this film, and by the time we get to the dance finals, I'm like, what does this remind me of? It reminds me of something. And I'm like, oh, it's like the Crystal Light National Aerobics Championships, but again, in the dark, in complete darkness for some reason. And so I wanted to see, like, maybe that's the choreographer. Maybe it's the same guy who did the aerobics championships, because they're very similar moves. It's not, but I did find that I was not the only person who found a parallel between these two cultural touchstones. And I found an amazing review of this film in the AV Club.
Yes.
From The Onion? Is that?
Yeah, I think they're part of.
Yeah. I just want to read this to you because I can't say it better than this. Okay. Dance like no one's watching, end quote, takes on new meaning in this movie, which features people dancing not only as though no one was watching, but also as if they've never seen dancing in their lives.
Sorry. That's pretty great.
And were instructed to make it up from scratch. And make it up they do. From the initial audition scene starring a cast of hundreds and an outdoor stage perfect for doing every type of dance imaginable, especially once the competition begins. It's difficult to say how this tryout was organized, but it's executed with the smooth precision of a mass lemming suicide.
And in movies, they don't actually play the music when they're dancing. Because they don't want to screw up the timing. They bed that later. So they just are supposed to be counting in their heads. And if you're watching a movie that's done well with dancing, you can't tell the difference. It looks natural. Here it looks like nobody can hear music. They're all just have a different song in their heads.
And not only that, so here's the thing is you have a few of these dancing acts that I'm sure they got out of Los Angeles, the ballet dancers, the break dancers, but all of the other dancers, and I mean all of the other dancers, are doing the exact same choreography. The exact same moves. They're all trying to get the jam off the top shelf in the supermarket. All of them. It's like they hired a choreographer for an hour and a half.
It could very well be it.
Right? And they were like, okay, here's a sequence. And if you have this person do it, they all do the same lift and spin. And then the gymnastics. And the problem with that, apart from the fact that it's so uninteresting, is that when you have absolutely everyone doing the exact same choreography, it's immediately apparent who of them are the best dancers.
Right.
And the fact of the matter is, Natalie, the spoiled rich girl, she beats the pants off of all of them. She's a better dancer than every other person in this movie. She far and away. When she does the moves, it looks like dancing. When they do the moves, it looks like counting. And
there you go.
And they're the exact same moves, just in a slightly different combination, but it's the same. It's so samey. It's how is this a television show? Like, I would not. Solid Gold. God love them. They had to crank it out. How many different dance numbers every single week, and they would mix it up different kind. They would try break dancing.
Yes.
They would try ballet. They'd throw ballet in there for a ballad. I mean, they were really mixing it up. This is the exact same little dance sequence, just in slightly different. It's terrible. It's so bad. But they're like, she's amazing when Sarah Jessica Parker is reaching for the jam in the dark. And they're like, it's amazing.
She had done Broadway. She can dance.
She can dance.
She can sing. She can dance. I mean, she's definitely a talent, but there are obviously, extras, or they're doubles that are doing things for her that have big hair. Like she had big hair.
Yes.
And when I was writing,
because it's so gymnastics. It's so much gymnastics.
And that was a thing, like in the 80s too, that like gymnastics became very popular in the 84 Olympics. And so there's that sort of thing. But dance
TV, I mean, Solid Gold was not doing that.
No, I mean, an American Bandstand was not doing. Everyone, when you watch those shows, the kids are all doing their own dance. So you find when you watch them repeatedly, you look for the ones you like the best, and you would see them together because that's the whole point. And
some are more fun to watch,
and some of them have more style. Like some girls just had really.
Rosie Perez on Soul Train. Oh.
Phenomenal. There was one girl that was on the Philly one that my sister and I watched, and we called her Miss Accessories because she always had different accessories. She always looked great, but it was just like, she definitely took the Cyndi Lauper thing of like, too much is never enough kind of.
Great.
But it was great. I loved it. But it's when I wrote about Saturday Night Fever and I was interviewing choreographers for the book, one thing I was told a few times was there's no choreographers union. They have no rights, so they don't have to be listed in the credits for anything. So this is why Denny Terrio kind of took over for Lester Wilson on Saturday Night Fever, because nobody questioned him. They just were like, they don't have to be listed. So it's very hard for us to try to find. There was Patricia Birch, I think was the name that you.
That's the name that came up when I was looking for things. She did choreography on Grease and Grease 2 and lots of good things that you've heard of. She's not listed as the choreographer. So I don't know. It's just an internet rumor. I don't know if she actually, like, did they bring her in for lunch one day and like give us some moves and then let her go? I don't know. But yeah, you're right. They don't have to have them contracted for a specific period of time, or they don't have any standards that they have to be held to when employing a choreographer.
Right.
They can literally just bring one in for an hour and give me 6 moves for a movie that is all about dancing.
That's all about dancing, and they don't have to list it. I mean, sometimes years later, people will go on IMDb and put it in themselves, but even then, you can get kicked off for that. I mean, so it's the choreographers out there. We understand your pain. We understand like what you have to, because they just get gigs,
Yeah.
And so getting on a Solid Gold is a huge deal because at least it's money you're coming in every week.
It's nice regular pay. It's a regular job. I know.
Yeah.
The dialogue.
The script is really bad.
The script is so bad. It's so bad. And it's not like the story is terrible. It's like it's a basic story. After school special.
Yeah.
It's fine. But the dialogue is so clunky, and these actors are really doing. Shannon Doherty is so cute.
Braces?
They're really doing their best. She's adorable.
She's adorable. I remember her from Little House on the Prairie. She did just before this. So they're all the actors. We have no beef. We never do with the beef with the actors. They have no control. No. It's like they're just doing a gig, and they're all very young.
They're doing. With what they have, they are doing. I don't know who could do a better job.
Yes. Helen Hunt, she's in a far better movie in her head than everybody else. And
Seriously.
God bless her
Yeah.
for that. Because she really brings some authenticity. But yeah, it's a lot of repetition too. It's a lot of like people say something and then you hear the notes for another song and then boom, there's another song that's in there and
There we go. It's another practicing montage.
it's a little.
We're going to do more gymnastics, I guess, and reach for that jam and reach and reach.
It's a little repetitive. It's a little you kind of know where it's going to go. There aren't any surprises. It's,
Oh no, none.
The
only surprise is that it's supposed to be Chicago somehow.
And
that this is a television show somehow. Oh.
Should we play another clip?
Let's see.
What do we have?
We still have
we don't have to play everything.
Few. Let's play the dance off.
Yes.
And Jeff Marie.
She looks great.
She sure does.
Hey, Bob, look at that. Hey, Ed, how you doing, huh? Hey, watch this move, huh? Hey, Ed, you been watching my kid on TV, huh? Look at him go.
I can't stop laughing when I watch this now because it's so bad. But it is amusing.
She sure is. She sure does.
Look at my son.
That's one of the mom's only lines in the film, by
Bless
the way.
her
That's all
heart.
she does.
Bless her heart. She's bossed around by this father that's such a hard ass about everything. But he immediately, he goes to the station. You think he's going to
captivated.
Yeah.
By her backflips.
And they're just leaping over a thing and landing on the floor. There's no.
In the dark.
In the dark.
But even in the dark, the other girl is so much better.
Yes. Well, she's a real dancer. Holly Gagnère, sorry. But she's a really great dancer. And she's clearly, it's like when the devil goes down to Georgia and you and I always talk about the devil is always much better than Johnny. It's not even a contest to me. What are we even doing here?
What are we doing here?
What are we even doing?
We know what we're not doing in the movie anyway. You know what those girls are not doing? They're not having much fun. Not enough.
Not enough fun. There should have been more girls having fun and girls supporting each other and girls it would have been fun if they become friends with Holly. Holly kind of sees oh, wait a second. Why are we fighting each other? We both love to dance. We love music.
They all love to dance.
Yeah, let's all be on the show. Why does everybody have to be a couple? Why can't we just be ourselves and be
Yeah, and we see in the audition footage there are a couple girl pairs that are dancing.
Yeah,
and boy pairs that are dancing. So what's wrong with that? I don't know. I like they don't force Helen Hunt to do too much dancing.
She's got so much energy in all the other scenes. She probably needed the rest because she's constantly bopping around and jumping, climbing,
so tired from pulling this movie along.
She's carrying it on her back. She needed to rest.
Ay, this film, you guys. I mean, it's
so bad.
It's not egregiously offensive. There's no overt racism. I don't know, why does Helen Hunt say, what does she say? In the first scene that we meet her, she says, wait, I'm going to find it. Okay, you're meeting your best friend on the bus. First of all, if I sit next to a girl on the bus, I'm this age, and she says, I just know I must be horny.
I would be creeped out.
I'm changing seats.
Yeah.
I'm changing seats. We're not going to be friends. There's this character who doesn't get explored too much. There's this other thing. So there's this character on Dance TV, on DTV. They do a break for music news. And the music news is delivered by this woman who comes out, like they carry her out on a stretcher and they make this whole big production and she delivers the music news. And it's like about how Paul McCartney's buying up the rights to this, which is a thing he was doing at the time. He was buying up the rights
Buddy
to
Holly.
everything.
Yeah.
And I thought that was very, very finger on the pulse kind of moment. But these guys bring her in on a stretcher and they put her down and she says, "Let's all hear it for steroids." What? That's a line in this film, y'all.
You said that to me and I hadn't seen the movie yet. So I was like, what is she talking about? And then I saw the movie. I'm like, oh my God, this makes no sense.
What? So near the end of when we get to the scene where it's the dance finals, the host of Dance TV, who was a guy, he really had like a music show.
Mm-hmm.
Remember him? He had it was like a music news show.
Yeah.
On in the evening. I cannot remember what it was called, but I do remember him being on television. And he is treating the news woman like crap, ordering her about and stuff. And so she quits. She quits because of his bad behavior. She quits because he treats her very poorly in this job. And then so he is, he's stuck without somebody to do the music news, but there's Helen Hunt. So who do we get? Let's get a kid to do this terrible job. Let's exploit her. We can get a few years out of her on DTV. Like, what are we doing?
It's very silly.
I don't get it. It's very silly. It's a very, very silly movie. Her Janie's military dad shows up. He's going to put a stop to this live television show. Okay.
Yeah.
They just let him into the studio. Fine. And Jonathan Silverman is there for some reason next to the cameraman. They love to have people next to the cameraman.
I know camera people. They do not want you near them.
Next to a very expensive camera on live TV.
Because they're listening to the booth. They're not going to be talking to you. They don't what is that? Yeah.
But there he is. And he's like, "Oh, my child, she's so wonderful with her backflips." And he totally is won over. So, and the end. So now they have this thankless job where they're going to be treated terribly on DTV.
They're going to be exploited until they're too old. They age out at 20.
And that's the movie.
Should we play the Roger Ebert clip?
Yes.
We have to. I love this so much.
We have to. We can't say it better than he did.
If you will look very carefully at this poster for Girls Just Want to Have Fun, you will notice one very interesting thing, and that is that nowhere in this entire poster is there the name Cyndi Lauper. We have names like Sarah Jessica Parker and Lee Montgomery and Helen Hunt, but no Cyndi Lauper, and there's a reason for that. Cyndi Lauper is not in this movie. She's not in the movie. The movie is not based on characters like Cyndi Lauper. It doesn't even have any wrestlers in it. It doesn't even come out of the Cyndi Lauper universe. This movie is about Catholic high school girls in Chicago, and either Cyndi Lauper or her agent sold the rights to her famous song, Girls Just Want to Have Fun, to the movie, and you can hear it in this movie, but that's too high of a price to pay for sitting through this film.
Would you mind showing me that routine you do on the pommel horse? You do it so well, and I'm just so bad at it.
Well, I suppose I could.
Thank you.
After classes are out, the girls try to shed their parochial school image.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Velcro. Next to the Walkman and Tab, it is the coolest invention in the 20th century.
Why are you doing this? I mean, do you have a date or something?
No, I wish. I just know I must be horny. I'm going to babysit. You should see me when I go out.
The movie stars Sarah Jessica Parker, who wants to be a regular on a TV dance show. Here she is with the guy she's recruited to be her partner.
I can't believe that in 2 weeks I'm going to be dancing on DTV. I bet I get hit by a car.
What?
No, things are going too well. I mean, besides DTV, I have a best friend. And I mean, I never dreamed in a million years that I would have a boyfriend.
Now, that's kind of a cute story about how that girl and her boyfriend want to compete in this dance-a-thon so they can be regulars on this TV dance show that's allegedly being filmed in Chicago, which brings us to another point, which is, why do they say this movie is shot in Chicago? It starts out with some shots of Sears Tower and the John Hancock Center, and that's it for Chicago. It's obviously filmed in Los Angeles. There's even a shot from Hollywood Boulevard, so why say it's in Chicago? They must think we're as dumb as they obviously are if they made this movie, because girls just want to have fun is not for girls who want to have fun, or boys either, and certainly not for movie critics. I give it 1 star, and I'm Roger Ebert.
That's it.
I love the man. I love him.
R.I.P. He was great. One of the greats.
And 100% right.
Yes.
As always. Just, yeah. We forgot to mention the what's the opposite of seamless?
Oh, chaotic.
Glaringly obvious transitions to the stunt doubles. There's a lot of stunt doubles. They blew all their music budget on stunt doubles, I think.
Yeah.
In this movie. So we have the nun on the pommel horse.
Which is a boy. It looks like a boy that's doing that.
It
has to be.
is not unlike the flash dance with the body double with the mustache.
The spin. Yeah, that's spinning. Yeah. And that was a big deal when we found out that they had to use doubles in that movie.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
We thought that was them. Yeah, which they did a lot of dancing.
Yeah.
Fairness.
Yeah.
And much better dancing than we're talking about here. But, yeah. Definitely the song.
Yes,
Definitely the song. Definitely the song in the Cyndi Lauper music video has more plot and better dancing and better costumes and better lighting.
It's more fun.
It's more fun. So if you want to have fun,
yes,
just watch the video. Yeah. Wow. Yeah, it's real bad.
But it was fun to talk about it. It was fun to visit this time, and it was fun for me to talk about Robert Hazard and the Hooters and all that again. That was and Cyndi Lauper, of course.
Oh, of course.
I mean,
but I had seen it back in the day, and I didn't know seeing it then that it was Sarah Jessica Parker, and that we didn't know we had Oscar winner Helen Hunt.
Right.
We didn't know that these Robert Downey Jr. Mm-hmm. Did Robert Downey Jr. win for Chaplin, or he was just nominated?
Nominated.
But yeah, these were heavy hitters, but within their little baby years. So, and Weekend at Bernie's, I mean.
Huge. I love Weekend at Bernie's still. That's a funny movie. I'm only human.
I know. Come on. So yeah, I mean, it is, what can we say? It's a snapshot of a time.
It's a perfect snapshot of 1985.
Yeah. Yep. Is the producer a pill popper? Are we? By the way, is that what we're led to? Is that what we're supposed to take away from that?
Which one? I'm sorry.
The producer, not the host. The producer when he's at the cattle call audition scene.
Oh yeah, and he has that. Yeah,
there's this whole bit where he's like,
yeah, he's on uppers or downers or something.
Okay.
Because he's under so much stress. It's a dance show, Margot. There's a lot on the line here.
It's a dance show without a choreographer, apparently. What do you do? That's stressful.
And you never see the dance show. You see these auditions and these scenes, but I would have liked to have seen the show in action more.
We do see the show when she goes over and they're babysitting.
Yeah, I think I just could have used more.
The show, again, it's just people in the dark.
It's people in the dark. That's right.
Same sequence of dancing.
Hairspray
for that jam.
Hairspray does this so much better, y'all. It's
so much better.
Yeah,
so much.
All
better.
versions of Hairspray, by the way, versus
pick one. Just pick one. It'll be better. Yeah, very fun though. Very fun.
Yeah,
love and kudos for Helen Hunt's wardrobe in this.
I would have worn everything.
I would have worn every single one of those outfits.
Same.
I would wear them now.
Yep.
Yes, love the outfits. And Robert Downey Jr., come on. You flip that table. You go.
It's all good.
So we have talk about a cultural moment.
Yeah.
We have something really exciting planned for our next episode.
We're going to be talking about The Warriors, which we've covered in the past, and it's on our Patreon wall. We're going to take it off Patreon. We're actually going to interview a person who was one of the screenwriters for the movie. He has a book out, and he was also one of the baseball Furies. He's in the film, and he talks about his experiences on the Warriors. So we're going to interview him and then play back that episode. And then 2 weeks from now, we're going to be talking about The Hate You Give, which is for Black History Month. So we got some fun stuff, really good stuff coming up.
Yeah. I'm very excited. I haven't the Warriors, if you've never read the book, it's a little difficult to get through.
Yeah.
It's a little grisly. But of course we love that movie.
The movie's incredible. I can't wait to watch it again.
I'm excited to watch it again. It's time.
It is time. It's time. So that's coming up. All those places I mentioned at the top of the show, please send us your suggestions. We're always looking for suggestions. Our email, once again, is bookversusmoviepodcast@gmail.com. And Margot, where can they find you?
You can find me online at coloniabook.com, and all my social media callouts are at She's Not Your Mama. And where can they find you?
You can find me at brooklynfitchick.com. I'm at brooklynfitchick for Threads and Instagram. And I'm at Brooklyn Margot for TikTok, where I have a couple of these videos. And on Blue Sky, I'm at Brooklyn Margot. And then on YouTube, I'm at my name, Margot Donahue. And we have those clips there too. And they've been getting hundreds of watches. So there are people that love this movie. They love Girls Just Want to Have Fun, the movie. Okay. I'm not mad at it.
Well, we'll enjoy a little bit going out, and yeah, thanks for joining us, everybody.
We'll be back soon with a new episode.
Sleep tight. Good night, Mom.
I got everything I need for trouble, everything I need for style, everything I need in the whole wide world. Cause I wanna go wild. I'm looking for this, looking for that. I ain't gonna quit till I'm where it's at. Cause I'm on the loose, on the loose.
There we go. I was like, why can't I put us back in?
Thank you so much for listening to the Book versus Movie podcast. We're a part of the Spreaker Podcast Network. Go to Spreaker.com to check out all of the shows they offer. We ask that you make sure to subscribe to our podcast, Book vs. Movie, in your podcast app, so that way you'll never miss an episode. If you want to interact with the Margos, the best place to do that is in our private Facebook group. Go to Facebook and type in Book vs. Movie Podcast Group and ask to join. On social media, you can find us on Instagram and Threads. You spell out Book versus and Movie. Our email is bookversusmoviepodcast, spelled it all out, at gmail.com. This is Margot D, and you can find me at my blog, brooklynfitchick.com, and I'm at Brooklyn Fitchick for Threads and Instagram. And on TikTok, I'm at Brooklyn Margot. I'm also at Brooklyn Margot for Blue Sky. Margot P. You can find her on all social media at She's Nacho Mama. We really appreciate the listen, and if you have ideas for us, we not only cover books, but also short stories, magazine articles, plays, songs, poems. Be creative. If it's been adapted into a movie, we may just cover it. We just ask that the movie be available on a major streaming platform. We'll be back soon with a new episode.